Flat Earth British, Martin Liedtke speaking. Welcome people, welcome back to the great Flat Earth British think tank. On the 5th of November 2019, or so they say. So welcome, peace and love to you all. It's going to be an epic vlog. Okay, there's a lot in this. Okay, we've got some big questions, some discoveries, and something to think about, which will be this. What we're going to look at, okay, is the North Pole and the narrative for Captain Nemo and the Nautilus, okay, and we're going to wonder, is there a frozen ocean, as in an ice pack? Is there a open sea? Or is there, as Cater would tell you, land, as in the Hyperborean, in the North Pole? Well, the narratives are all colliding and are utter bullshit, okay? They can't corroborate with one another and it all falls apart. It's embarrassing, in fact. So they're hiding something. They say that it's of huge significance to them, but there's undefinable what is exactly there. I'm going to look into that and the narrative for Nemo, okay? Because there's cluage definitely in that when thinking from Flat Earth British contexts. What else we're going to look at is some discoveries, okay? And we're going to look into a narrative for the Phonies and the Welsh and the Irish and other people. But the Phoenicians doing exactly what we prostrate, okay? Which is come in with goods on boats and infiltrate society and act in a parasitical Bacchusite nature and take over society, which is where it is now, taking everybody away from who they truly are, okay, away from their home, their tribe, and their people, okay, so they're bullshit, which is all bullshit, okay, it is all lower vibrational, okay, it's nothing to do with who we really are, and it's a fake paradigm, it's a fake mindset, fake thought forms, the whole thing is fake as shit. When you step outside that, though, like Captain Nemo seems to have done in the narrative, things happen, things change, you notice stuff a lot more, okay, reality unveils itself. Going on that note, because of a few emails actually that I've been receiving, people feeling the same. They feel that something is coming, 2020, etc. Okay, is on the horizon, the flat horizon, and people know that the awakening is accelerating, and millions and tens of millions are waking worldwide. In my mind, this will happen. Okay, plain wide awakening. The hypnosis is lifting daily. There's changes. Everything is being altered, even the official narratives, as you'll see in this. I think the phonies are dying, is what I think. So we're going to push ahead. Okay. On that note, please share. I'm going to whiz through all of this, guys. There's quite a bit in it. We've got some etymology. We're going to have a think about some stuff and do Flat Earth British stuff. Okay, you into this? Cool. Okay. So bear with me. If I make any mistakes, just go with it, because I'm not going to be recording again. So I've got to get on with stuff. Now, make sure to share, please. Okay, I don't know what's happening with my channel. YouTube got it, but like, fucking don't even worry. It doesn't matter. Captain Nemo. Captain Nemo. Okay. Now, this is highly interesting, okay? It's a Jules Verne novel, okay? So Captain Nemo, also known as Prince Dakar, is a fictional character, so they say, created in the French science fiction of Jules Verne, okay? Nemo appears in 2 novels, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, okay? Massive Phoenician theme, and Mysterious Island, okay? Which has been talked about quite a bit in this field, okay? And he makes a cameo in Through the Impossible, which looks like a really interesting story. So anyway, he's got a submarine and advanced tech, guys. Nemo has. Okay, he's a mysterious figure. He's a son of an Indian Raja. He's a scientific genius who roams the depths of the sea in his submarine, okay, which is called the Nautilus. Okay, now they've repeated the Nautilus in the past, the US military or the US Navy to send it to the North Pole. Okay, I'm going to have a look at that now after this, which was built of pieces all over the world, shipped to the builder. Nemo tries to protect the stern-controlled confidence and is driven by the thirst for vengeance, for the hatred of imperialism. Okay, focused on the British Empire. He is also racked by remorse over the deaths of crew members and even the deaths of enemy sailors. Okay, so this guy's got it going on, right, guys? Now listen to this. The etymology for this, right, is the Greek means he's nobody. So he's got no name, he's nobody, or literally no name. Okay, I have no name is what Nemo replies. I have no name. He's gone free, man. He's outside of the Phoenician control mechanism, and it echoes it here. So he's the son of, he's the descendant of a sultan, okay? Check this out, though, guys, right? So this sultan, okay, so he's royal, if you like, but he's outside of the Phoenician matrix. I feel him, you know, he's Tartarian type. So it's got here the narrative of 1767 to 1799 for the use of Morsian rockets were an Indian military weapon, the first iron case rockets successfully deployed for military use, or so they say, in 1870s and 1880s. So he's related to a guy who's into some sort of high-tech rocketeering, okay? And there's the revolts and stuff that he's whole narrative for his life, yet he never ever really existed, is what I find fascinating. So they say. So the character is really interesting. He avoids dry land except when it's uninhabited, as with Antarctica and desert islands, in keeping with his contempt for nations of the surface. He uses no products that are not marine in nature. That be food, clothing, furnishing, and even tobacco, which we're going to talk about later in this vlog, because this guy, he grows tobacco. If you notice just under my picture here, Captain Nemo playing an organ. Okay, so he had an organ, and he was a master, which he was a master at, on his vessel. So he's into vibrational music qualities, he's outside the matrix, he knows what's going on above, and he lives in the depths. Little is revealed about his political ambitions except almost maniacal hatred of perception, okay, which he identifies with all imperialistic nations, okay, the Phoenicians. He therefore identifies himself with those oppressed, be they Cretians, rising up against the Turks, the Ceylonese, or the pearl divers, or even the black whalers attacked by cachalots, sperm whales. So he's a free man. On the surface, right, they can still exercise their innocuous claims, battle with each other, devour each other, haul every earthly horror, but 30 feet below the sea level, where their domain ceases. So the influence of the parasite vanishes. Their influence fades. Their power vanishes. Oh, sir, live in the hearts of the seas. Here alone, independence. Here I recognize no superiors. Here I am free. Now, I was years in the Merchant Navy. I spent probably about 2 years of my life below sea level, in a dingy engine room on the Captain Theo. And I know exactly what he means. Your mind works differently. You're more spiritual. You're more so fucking connected. And it's true what they say, guys. Strange things happen at sea. So there's some pictures. You've got some high-tech stuff going on for the time period. Okay, excuse me. And he's connected with this unbelievable structure through his genius and relatives. I'm not sure what that is. And he plays the organ. Got a huge organ. In apparent. Oh, hang on. This looks Phoenician. But he was a master of the organ. Don't know. That's the crew members he was talking about. So this is inside the Nautilus, the submarine. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's got a massive organ because he knows the quality of organ music. Okay. I don't know what this is. Really beautiful. So that's the Grand Saloon on the Nautilus. There's other rooms as well, because the thing's massive. Okay. Very, very interesting. So, in the modern day, on the last century, wow. In 1958, FDR, no, was it FDR? No, somebody else. Commissions the first apparent nuclear-powered, so massive battery banks, submarine, to go under the Arctic ice and burst through at the North Pole. You know, that place where there's supposed to be poles. Well, they don't state whether it's, you know, the magnetic North Pole or the geographical North Pole or what have you. So, yeah, they get attacked by giant creatures under the sea. Pretty advanced stuff. This submarine. And a cool ass, skull and crossbones. A cool ass pictorial. Skull and crossbones sign is a well-known symbol for poison and pirates. So, the Nautilus in a modern day. Okay. If I just puff this up. This is in the New York Times. Okay, so they are referring back to that, obviously, that classic story. And the Nautilus sails under the pole ice and 1,830 miles of Arctic ice cap in Pacific to Atlantic passage. So here's the narrative. I'll show you a bit more about it. And this happens in... excuse me. 1958. Now there is footage of it, and here it is here, the Nautilus, first apparent nuclear powered, August the 3rd, 1958, the US Nautilus, which has just basically massive battery banks, okay, goes under apparent Arctic ice, bursts through, okay, here's Ice Camp Nautilus, same name, connected with Nemo, which is an anagram of omen, by the way. Ice Cap Nautilus, the view of the sunset, okay, so even that is named after it, okay. Now, we move on. So the history of the, submarine exploration in the Antarctic basin and contiguous marginal sea ice zones, so where the sea meets the ice, okay. The attainment of the North Pole and successful transpolar cruises of the USS Nautilus and USS Skate in August 1958. Now, they've just done it again in another, I think it was the Heartland, another submarine, and apparently burst through, apparently still ice, but you know, we'll have a look at that. So the work grew world attention on the capability of the nuclear submarine to reach and explore extensive areas within hitherto inaccessible portions of the Arctic basin, okay, which is an ocean, by the way. Or so they say. The achievement of the USS Nautilus signifies, as it was not the cumulation, however, it was a major milestone in the efforts which began in 1898. They even say there was an earlier attempt to go under in the 1930s in a submarine under the ice cap, or so they say. Okay. And here's a letter of what I just read concerning this Antarctica trip and some maps. Now, so they're saying in 1958 and in the modern day, which I'll show you videos of now, that there's a frozen ocean. But you go on to Google Earth and the fake ass ball, okay, fake ass CGI ball, there's no ice. They're not showing any ice, like at all, on the North Pole. So why is that? Okay, so is there ice? Is there not? No. Excuse me. No. Hope it's not lagging. Motherfucker. So this is not coming up. USS Nautilus, the world's first nuclear-powered submarine. They don't actually state on that Wikipedia what the fuel source is for the Nautilus, but it is protected, the stern whatever mechanism is there is protected. So anyway, the Nautilus was decommissioned in 1980. Okay, and there was also an earlier expedition to the North Pole in around the 1930s by a guy that I've never heard of until I looked into this. Okay, attended by Mamie Eisenhower, the First Lady. Okay, on its launch. I wonder if the champagne bottle broke. Anyway, so there's that letter about the exploration. Doesn't give you too many clues. But this one, the first serious attempt to explore the Arctic was a submarine. Began in 1930 by a Sir Hubert Wilkins, contracted to outfit an absolute US submarine. So they had to go with it in the 1930s. It's news to me. Now, excuse me. This is the US Navy nuke submarine USS Trenchant, bursts through the ice layer in the North Pole. This is last year in 2018, so they're still doing it, and they tell you this is the narrative that is frozen, and they burst through because it's that thin. Now, did they drop a guy off earlier to bust through the ice to set up the camera? So who's got the camera? How is it there? They're at the fucking North Pole. They do the same thing with space, like this anomalous guy who floats around space taking fucking photographs. It's ridiculous. Obviously, if I'm glitching, I'm sorry. That could be anywhere. So what they're saying at the North Pole is like a metre thick of ice between you and the ocean. So they're saying that's at the North Pole in a modern day. They went in 1958, it made history, bullshit. It's got the same narrative for Nemo. It was incredibly interesting. Here's another one. Very rare, 3 submarines surface the Arctic ice. Okay, at the same time. Oh well, this is probably not the North Pole, but still. They just burst up. What elevation are we looking at? Is there somebody on step ladders? Is this head height? Oh, right. The fireworks are going to be starting shortly. It's getting dark in Cardiff. So, hope that didn't glitch me up. So they're putting them through the ice in the modern day in 1958, and they tell you all about it. Yet, yeah, there's other narratives out there that it's a frozen, not a frozen ocean, but an open seaway. You can now sail to the North Pole. So how is the US military saying a year ago they're busting through the ice at the North Pole? In this narrative, 2 years ago, okay, which I talked about at the time when it happened, because I was quite interested. These guys head out in a yacht, they go to the North Pole, right, and there's no fucking ice at all. Okay, to the North Pole, where it's broken up here. Okay, it takes up to 6 weeks in a nice little yacht with a dog board, and it's an open ocean. Okay, they say. So according to that narrative and a few more, there is no ice at the North Pole in this narrative. Excuse me. Interesting, eh? So what do you make of that, guys? According to Google, there's no ice. Is there ice? Is there no ice? Is there land? I think the US military are lying. I think there is something else definitely going on. Okay, I think with the narrative now by the official mainstream, etc., pushing Antarctica, so we don't think about it. I think the action should be thought about up north, which is why I'm talking about it. Now, another discovery, interesting as it may be, okay, I've been looking at Roman bas-reliefs, okay, now, and I've been looking at some Piranesi art. Now, you may notice for some time I've been talking about this, which I thought was a video camera. Okay, this box with like what looks like two speakers. They take it on procession, okay, while they're blowing trumpets, and you'll see the same for all of these Roman bas-reliefs, okay, or Phoenician bas-reliefs, that they take music in when they go into procession. So music and these strange boxes, which I thought might have been video cameras. Okay, now I think something different, and I'll show you what. This was in a Piranesi art book, okay, and it's pictures of this apparent number 3 is, or C, is an esophagus. An esophagus, it would say, and it's the same old Phoenician bowl, everything wrecked because it's all been underwater. There's that thing again, only this time it's showing you what it does. Okay, sound waves. Sound waves. They're using energy weapons. They're using sound weapons when they go to take over wherever they're taking over, these Phoenicians, at the time. Some strange things there. I think these might be trees. So yeah, they're showing you sound waves from that box. I think that's a real good clue to everything else we've been talking about concerning fasces and everything else. So I'll link this up. There's actually stacks in this book. Now, I want to actually play some Piranesi towards the end of this vlog, if I can, if it doesn't glitch up. Now, other stuff. Now, are the controllers, or the controllers, okay, don't think about allies, because allies means all lies. Okay, there are no allies, it's all lies. Now, the controllers, they like to predictively program. Now, last year and this year, they're doing this, which is tens of thousands, okay, representing all the people who were killed in the First World War, of poppies, blood red poppies. These are sick motherfuckers. Not only are they doing that, right, they pour it out of the wall, and it flows just like a river of blood. A river of blood. They're showing you out of the Tower of London, made of poppies, a river of blood, guys. A river of blood. Now, there's a famous river of blood speech that shook Britain back in the old days by a guy called Enoch Powell, which was a fucking crazy racist dude. And the narrative of that is very, very sinister, and I think it's got overtones with this river of blood. And, you know, I'm very suspicious of these predictive programmers and what they like to tell people. They're going to just spurting blood like a river. Are they sick or what? Is it a message? Rivers of blood. We're moving on. Phoenicians. Phoenicia. Now, kind of digging this guy at the moment. Now, there was a program on in Britain for years called the South Bank Show, and I had this guy on there, Melvyn Bragg. Not a fan, but reading this now, sort of changing the narrative. I've got books, old books, to verify that all this is true. This is very interesting. Lee Flat of British Sub sent this over to me. And the other, all the other stuff as well, and everything else is all you guys. Larry, all of you. I got it all linked up there. I'll give you all shouts at the end. And I want to talk about some other stuff like the Globe Lighter. So Melvyn Bragg, yeah, I'm digging him at the moment. I like the beginning bit. Okay, now a Phoenician ship turns up. Okay, now this is really interesting. So he's made a program and he wants to add to it. Okay, so here are some notes after the talk, after the program. One of our contributors said that he should have time to be given a lecture at his university, blah 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 blah. Actually, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about FEB tours, or a tour, towards the end of this vlog. Anyway, in the Tudor or the Renaissance times, when people in this country did, so this is like, you know, the mid-period, what, the Renaissance, 1500s, what have you, so they say, did not want to think they were French in origin, unlike the colonising force which came in 1066, the Normans, or so they say. And steady for a couple of centuries afterwards, they decided that they would be Phoenicians instead. So Phoenicians, not being an Asian culture, right, bringing them up, okay, into this last half of the millennium AD. There. In the official narrative, they're chopping and changing. The Cornish were particularly keen on the Phoenicians. They said the Phoenicians had come up from the Scilly Islands, which are beautiful and warm, and then Cornwall itself, and they were responsible for Stonehenge and cinnamon on fruit buns, among much else. The Welsh, which I am, in case you never noticed, okay? Bugger. I'm not one of them. I never ended up one of the Phoenicians, guys. Obviously I stayed tattered. I'm like a red Indian. I'll talk about that in a minute, okay? As in a Native American. Right. And I do speak a little bit of Indian anyway. Arapaho. The Welsh also wanted to be Phoenicians. The evidence that they put forward was the Welsh moustache, okay? They said that living in Wales, the Phoenicians had lost their red or ruddy skins and gone Welsh white. Okay, but they maintain their distinction. They grew a particular sort of moustache later on. To retrieve some colour, they painted themselves blue. This was called wold. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about wold as a dye. But they were certain Welsh persons convinced this was a return to the Phoenician. Now, this is purple. Okay, this wold was banned apparently in the centre of London by Queen Victoria, or so they say, because it apparently stunk out London, and they put it to the south of the river because of the wold, this dye process. Now, Phoenician purple, okay, it's really hard to get hold of in ancient Rome, Phoenicia. The purplers were the most wealthiest in the whole of the empire because they got the purple for the Caesars, or the sirs of the sea. And to get it, it's from a crustacean of a small sea animal, and it has to be like trillions of them just to get any amounts of this, purple liquid, purple dye. So the Welsh had the Welsh moustache. Now, the narrative in the official narrative for this was when Augustus Caesar arrived at Britain, first time he tried to take it, a load of Celts turned up on the beach on the south coast, all in purple. And I read in the official sort of narrative back then, this was belladonna, as in deadly nightshade, powder they put on their skin, purple, for psychoactive properties. Which one's real? This one. The Irish too decided to be Phoenician because they didn't want to be British. Fucking A. I am flat earth British, but like, I'm going to do it. Flat earth Tataria. We find it, several Irish writers, Frail and Hanley included, that they sympathised with the Carthaginians because Carthaginians were anti-Rome, which stood for being anti-British. Anti-Phoenician, guys. They know the score. We've been telling you, the Phoenicians have high old times since they slipped out of history. Yeah, they rule the roost. The very early film of Spain in 1914, Caribe, concerned a little blonde girl who was stolen by a Phoenician pirate, taken to Carthage to be sacrificed. She was rescued by a Roman soldier and his black slave servant, and huge adventures ensued. Okay, and then you go into bogus time frames there, but it's there, it's in the official narrative. Basically the infiltration of Phoenicia into our society. We were somebody else before these turns up, and this is on, they're going on from the Renaissance, guys, modern day, and all of the education system, all this Jesuit art, all of it is given by them. If they got a control mechanism, there's hardly anything outside of it, as the narrative for Nemo will show you. He had to get under the water to get out of that mindset, away from them. So talks about the Magna Carta there, which is a little bit interesting. Okay, so I'll give you that narrative because it's more proof of what we say is absolutely true concerning the Phoenicians and where you are in Phoenicia. We'll talk about tobacco a little bit, put it out there, because they reverse everything and they put the horror story on tobacco. there is a narrative out there that tobacco was once used as an antibiotic in its rawest form, like gubba. The real tobacco is, in fact, even now, okay, not that bad. Now, the health benefits of tobacco and cutting through the anti-smoke propaganda is a little, basically, article concerning it, okay. There are a few topics I usually don't post very often about on Facebook due to having to deal with the trolls and people's cognitive dissonance. Getting triggered without doing or having done any sincere research of their own. So Bernard, I have exactly the same, resulting in some kinds of logical fallacies, personal attacks, the lack of critical thinking, and not questioning deeply ingrained social beliefs and norms, such as this one: smoking is bad for you and can kill you. Is that true? Or is that what you've been told? Now, so I asked anyone who experienced this kind of trigger with regard to the topic to read the article below, including the references I give them, to having an option of not just mechanically reacting with the usual government or WHO approved anti-smoking campaigns and arguments, okay. I do not work for a tobacco industry, nor am I getting paid for them, okay, for these topics. And it goes into the benefits of smoking. I'm not going to read all that because I'm not in a ready mood right now, okay. But apparently there are benefits, okay. Highly interesting. I'm going to go into it a little bit more. I suspect the thing is, right, I've had two, personal experiences this year of related to my life of people being cured by cancer through CBD products or cannabis products. Why would they fucking rob the people of that? There's a whole generation of people who would just have their lives ruined, families split apart, spent years in jail. Bill Murray said recently, most of the world's jails are fucking full because people were self-medicating and trying to take care of themselves outside a big pharma. It's fucking ridiculous. You can't. It's not sanctioned. You're going down. Hemployment. It's my friend Gillian. She does the best CBD products. Okay. Hemployment, or Gilly at hemployment.com. I'll put that details in the descriptions box. CBD it up, guys. CBD it up, okay? Don't take any of their bollocks. Put it on the toilet today, okay? Now, I suspect, this is a reality, I suspect tailor-made fags are really dodgy, and I suspect with real tobacco, outside of all them added toxins, that there's something going on. I really, really do, as I spoke about in my last vlog. So there are narratives out there, okay? For the benefits, Native Americans, okay, it's definitely all these indigenous peoples, they smoke tobacco. So I want to talk about a little bit about the Globe Light Tour. If you don't know about it, okay, there's been a tour ripping across Europe, okay, the flat earthers in full force. Here's my friend Adam Meakin from Iron Realm Media. There's Nora in the background. Adam got took down by the Babylon because they didn't want him talking about flat earth, so they kidnapped him off the street. If you don't know about it, this is what they do when you tell the fucking truth, right? They send fucking fascists in, okay, which are only like good for doing that. They can't fucking think. So have a little look. Now I borrowed this off 007, brother. If you're in chat, thank you. I will link this up. 007. Okay, his brother's down in Tenerife. Okay, but he made a cool video. So it shows you Adam getting fucked up. So we can hear. Bad camera for him.
I can't say I'm afraid they're going to arrest me too. I just said I'm transgender. And how are we going to carry the stuff? No. Pick up the baby. Pick up the baby. Oh my god, this is so horrible.
So Adam got kidnapped off the fucking streets in Rome outside the Colosseum. Yeah, they let him out a little while after. It was a really heartwarming thing. Now, I've been following this. I've been helping out in the beginning and following it from the very beginning, and I'm really, really, really surprised of how it's making me feel. This thing is fucking epic, guys. This is fucking amazing. I can't imagine, you know, what is going to happen after all of this is over with. But yeah, it's been absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. The people, true fucking heroes, man. You know, this isn't an easy lifestyle for these people in that fucking van. But they were saying last night on Roxanne Globalist Deniers channel, they were all talking, and they said to me, "Good job you weren't there, Matt." Yeah, fucking no. I don't think I would have been even out by now. Yeah, man, that would have been carnage. But yeah. So they fucking kidnapped my mate Adam. So this is what's happening on the realm. They're in Milan today with the most beautiful architecture. I'll show you. So they go into just the best places, guys. Just the best places. This is Milano today. I had the Megan and David, another one of my brothers. Ooh, shit. Excuse me, boss. Sorry about that. No. The architecture is beautiful. Look at the size of these doors. So they've taken the camera around and showing me shit and stuff. They're outside by the cathedral. Looks like the underground. Yeah, it is. So that's what they've been up to. So, hey people in chat. Very interesting. Loving all of that. So that's what I've been looking at. Is the epic globe lighter. So, go to a coffee shop local. And look what they put on a coffee cup. So it's a coffee cup made into a top hat and one of these curious little moustaches. I'm wondering whether it's the Welsh moustache. So let's have a little look what we've had shared on the photo drop, because loads of people have joined. 750 people. The epic flat earth British, which Lee sorts out when he gets time because he works all the hours. Photo drop. So what we got here is some nice Antiquitech by Dawn Attila Hun. Oh, very nice somatic window. We love that. Look at the tech outside that. Oh, and 4 angels. Boom, 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 boom. Obviously. So yeah, I wonder what's going on up north. Is it frozen? They can't seem to fucking corroborate their bullshit. So this is where they were yesterday, outside Pisa in the globe lighter. Epic. What a fucking backdrop. They were right here. Right here. Yeah, it was lucky Adam didn't lean on that fucking tower. He would have definitely pushed it over. Maybe it was straight before they got there. So New York before and after. Just pig farms and fields, huge massive Tatarian structures in the field. Paths, nothing. Shit. From where there was a mud flood. Okay, and the Masonic symbology, I suppose. Smithsonian, Washington Monument. Old post office. Yeah, you need big doors in a massive building just to basically fucking post a letter. So beautiful. I don't know what that is. It looks like an entrance to an underground bunker, but check that stonage. Wow. And some nice Antiquitech being lit up. Look at that. So thank you for them, whoever you are, and whoever's been joining. That one is Jughead. So thanks, Jughead. And anyone else who's basically added to them. Okay, no, we're going to move on. This is only be an hour long post because I've got a lot to do. concerning touching up the last bits of this. I spoke to my publicist yesterday, basically Kay, so massive shout thanks Kay, okay, and the people who have pre-ordered the book. Now we've had to be a little bit patient. This thing was trying to be pushed through quicker than it, you know, ordinarily takes ahead of convention. It got hacked, everything else has been up in the air, blah blah blah, as you know. So this, we got to be nailed, and will be in time for, you know, people to have Christmas orders and stuff, because it's November the 5th now. So just touching up and tying up the last bits is what I'm doing as soon as I finish with this vlog. Okay, so this, okay, is being made as best as it possibly can, okay, with imagery and just mind blow. Okay, so that is coming soon. Okay, and here is my website, okay, which will be updated as soon as YouTube give me my fucking channel back. Okay, they do talk to me every day in emails and stuff, so there I am. Okay, I'm an author, speaker, educator, alternative history, and flat earth, spiritual, political, educational. Do you think that sums it all up? Sums it all up? So I haven't got a clue how so many people are seeing me, and I'm getting seen, recognised all over the place when my main channel's taken down. I have no access to my other 2 channels, and there's only 4,500 on this. It's really suspicious. I don't know what's going on. I mean, YouTube are fucking lying, is what I think. So what should we look at today, guys? Comets, Tataria, mud floods, starfloats, airships, maps, or words, or resources? I hear you shout what? Mud flood. Okay. We'll have a little look at that, and I'm going to come back and have a chat with you all. Okay. So, yeah, lads, a meeking got fucking jump out of Babylon. It's not funny, is it? So, and which came first, the buildings or the mud? In Petra. And you'll always see all of this underground, 2-3 levels down. Cardiff, every city I can think of in Britain, or even in the West and in the world, has got this same sort of thing. Just like in From Dusk Till Dawn, the Titty Twister, they had like this fucking vampire bar on top, and below was a huge pyramid. It looked exactly like that. Is that a bus? Yeah, it's scrap. I don't think that's real. That is the fucking Titty Twister. Ah, bollocks, is it? Yeah, it is. Oh, alright then. Fucking hell. Makes sense. Alright. Mud. And this is one of the shots I found from Kansas, when they're supposed to be re-leveling, but the buildings are up here, there's mud all this high, higher than the building. Which came first, the building or the mud? Doesn't seem to be much in that. Just not stony or anything, just mud. And all this below this building. So it's been built on top. Civilization, wiped out, civilization, wiped out, reset. Same here. And this is the premise of mud flood. Many ideas: liquefaction caused by comets, plasma discharge events, and when this place gets definitely flooded, which this was, Rome. Okay, back in 500 years or so ago, it was all underwater. I suspect America was too, which is why the maps have changed. Now this is Piranesi art. Okay, Piranesi art. I'm going to show you something. Which is blissful to finish this vlog. I hope you enjoy. And they are some etchings, but they will show you mud flooded, and these things are called Piranesi's prisons. Apparently they're under Paris. They're built for giants. They're absolutely huge and nothing to do with humans. They're too big, and they're all underground. And what Piranesi will show you is the reset world. Everything you see here is Phoenician. They show you Rome, and it's all been underwater. So enjoy the music. I'm going to sit back for a minute and enjoy it with you. Piranesi. See that? The Colosseum? I don't know if that's the Roman Colosseum, but the Globe Light tour bus was there yesterday. Totally epic. David had his loudspeaker out. He was flat smacking everyone here, and my sticker was on the side of the bus outside the Colosseum. So I was back there again, in a picture. Piranesi. And show you Phoenician bullshit, which is quite beautiful actually to look at. Look at this stuff. So look at some bas reliefs. Look at that, all the mud in Rome. Imagine the size of the column that would have been on top of that. So he's my favourite engraver, and I feel that he painted what he's seen, or engraved what he's seen. I wonder what that does. So, tis all been underwater. This is Rome. And the mud is still there. And debris. Look at this place. That's a people. It's just why do you need these doors and everything? Just massive. I guess, and this is St. Peter's Basilica, but everything's just mud. like the land of giants, man. All this stuff was just massive. The stonework is just massive. So play some more of that in a later date. Okay guys, let's just have a quick squeeze. That's me for the day. That's only an hour long. Somebody said in my comments, it'd be great your videos if your face wasn't in it. Yeah, whatever. Well, whatever. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. Anyway, I'm going to be back in a day or two. No, I've had loads and loads of emails. If you are waiting for an email back from me, you have to bear with me, right? Time is limited. I'm having to work as well, okay? Finalise books, make vlogs, catch up with everyone in my spare time, and try and fucking get by, okay? Which is not easy, okay? So, I gotta go. So, peace and love to you all. If you want to basically support Flat with British, I'll put links in the descriptions box. That would be a fucking beautiful thing right now. And if you need me, martinlitka7gmail.com. I'll link up my Facebook and all my other things for you to all have a look at and enjoy. Okay, it's all mind-blowing, and I'm going to be back in a day or two. So I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, Captain Nemo's fucking a real interesting narrative. He's a free man, and he's away from the Phoenician mindset. And the named after, or the American submarine is named after him, and it apparently goes to North Pole, which is frozen, and then it's not frozen. Is it land? Make your own minds up, guys. Comment, like, and subscribe, and share. Okay, thanks guys. Peace and love.